Greetings to everybody, salut à tout le monde, à tous et à toutes. In this vlog of my series, I will be doing a second chapter and a continuation of sorts of presenting my host community. I realized I had more video clips than to fit in just one video, so I'm doing a second chapter here, and I hope you enjoy the additional content as well to get a better idea and a broader understanding of what life and activities in my host community are like. And similar to the first video here, with this one now, before showcasing the actual narrated video clips of locations and features around my host community, I will be showing a map and doing some interpretation on that. That will be done first, and then secondly, and all the way to the end, there will be narrated clips where I present my host community. I hope you enjoy, and until next time. All right, and here's our map. And this map is rather unique and interesting because it is in fact a historical map. This was drafted in the mid-1960s by a group of French social scientists who were doing research in order to develop and gather data on the linguistics of the Susu language, which is the language of the host community that I live in. And so this map was produced as part of their final publication on that work. And the map that I show here, it is really rich. It contains not only geographical information, but also social, cultural, and topography as well. So I show this to you to put my own host community in a broader context and milieu of considering social, cultural influences, and then just to place my own host community within a broader context. So what this map shows here is the region of Lower Guinea, or the maritime region of Guinea, and within the red lines here is the traditional Susu-speaking zone where the Susu people inhabited. And in that zone, there is a certain river. Well, there are many rivers, but the one I'm highlighting here I have traced in blue, and that is the Kolantan River. And up towards the headwaters is where my own host community is located. The Kolantan River empties out into the Atlantic Ocean, but it takes its source up in some higher highland areas of Guinea. And so those highland areas are around where my host community is located, generally speaking. In the map, I've encircled the city of Kindia in green, and so my own host community is located along the banks of the Kolantan River to the northeast of Kindia. This here is one of my favorite spots around my host community. I call this the 1953 bridge because it was constructed in that year, 1953, by the French colonial administration. This is the bridge at the Kolantan River, close to my host community. It's a nice spot that I like to come to once in a while because there's shade, it's calm, it's quiet, it's got the river running through it, and just the history of it is kind of interesting and captivating as well. This spot here, where the bridge is along the Kolantan River, is also of great utility for the community as well. Local residents come here to wash their clothes, wash cooking ware, do bathing, and because the road runs through, there's also easy foot access to some fishing spots where local residents do traditional fishing with nets. Here are the community's agricultural storehouses. So during the harvest season, after everything's harvested, they're put into big sacks and put into big bags and then brought over here for storage in these buildings. These were constructed with the help of a Belgian NGO that provided funding. These places are really important because it allows a controlled environment and kind of keeps the harvested goods in a dry and safe space away from pests. So the commodities I'm speaking of are primarily rice and peanut. In this area in front of me, semi-forested area in front of me here, there are a few areas of community use and community function that are contained within. The first is that there is overflow prayer space here, although it's overgrown now with the forest undergrowth because of the rainy season. During important Islamic faith celebrations such as the feast at the end of Ramadan and Tabaski as well, when large amounts of believers come in to the village and there isn't enough prayer space to hold everybody in the mosque, people will congregate here for the prayers and the sermons associated with those occasions. And then as well here is the community cemetery. In the Islamic faith, generally, especially here in rural areas, the graves aren't marked and it's kind of just a communal place rather than individual plots marked out for individual grave sites. This here is the house of my host family. In my host family there's about, I'd say, 15 individuals or so, and it's comprised of my host father, and he is polygamous as he is a Muslim, and so he has multiple wives, two of which live here at this residence, and the third wife is the caretaker of his cow herd, so she lives out at a separate residence closer to the cow enclosures. And then just next to the host family house is now, which you can see, my personal living space. My living quarters are just right next door. So.
Tu vois le truc là, le petit enclos qui se trouve derrière la vache là.
Oui.
C'est ça qu'on appelle tout pali.
Tout pali.
Tout pali. On fabrique ce truc là.
This here is the rice dehulling machine and shed of my host community. I had mentioned it in part 1 of my community presentation video series, but I was able to stop by and get a video clip of its own here today. You can see the disintegrated rice hulls surrounding the machine here, and the machine has really great utility for the community because it saves a lot of manual labor for otherwise pounding the rice grains by hand in order to remove the rice hulls. This here is the soccer pitch for my host community. As you can see, it is not a grass playing field, but rather a gravel playing field, which is pretty much the case in all of rural Guinea. The locals play on gravel soccer pitches. And in terms of soccer matches and activities that occur here, it's pretty much on a daily basis that there's some sort of match or training going on, especially during the evening hours after people are done working in the fields for the day. And in terms of matches, there are a few types of matches that occur or that take place. One type of match is just the pickup scrimmage between village members, so youth and some young adult men will form teams, kind of on a whim, and then they'll play a match against each other, and that can happen a few times a week. That type of scrimmage match. Other than that, so I'd say about on a weekly basis, once a week, there are intercommunal matches. So a team from my host community will play a match against a team from a neighboring village, and in that sense, there's kind of a league or a tournament between my village and some of the neighboring surrounding villages' teams. And then lastly, a third type of match that occurs here at the village soccer pitch is the gala match. And the gala match occurs on very special occasions, pretty much only for days where there are marriages occurring in the village. And the gala match features a team from my host community, where usually it's the groom in the married couple. The groom is featured in the team of my host village, and then my host village team in the gala match plays against a team from that comprises men and boys from the village or the town where the bride is from. And those matches are really fun because there's a lot of people lining the sidelines to view the match, and there's music, and there's vendors selling food and drinks. And so that's kind of an overview of what happens here at the soccer pitch in my host community. This enclosed area here with the palm frond fencing is occupying part of the space of the former primary public school building here in the village. As you can see, this old former public school was retired in 2015 due to its deteriorating structure and physical state, and it was replaced by the current public school structure in that same year, 2015. But the focus here specifically on the enclosure area with the palm frond fencing is that I've noticed that just during the summer vacation months here during the past few months, so from starting about June till now, the date of filming, which is August 22nd, this area has popped up rather spontaneously, and I've asked around what its purpose is for, and I've gotten some information that occasionally there are vendors here that come and set up shop for selling palm wine, and also occasionally once or twice a week here in this little enclosure, it's also a space used for hosting what are called soirees, or kind of dance party evenings that occasionally occur once or twice a week. The community, for the soirees, the community rents out loudspeaker equipment and lights and a generator from the regional capital, and they come and install them here a couple nights a week for social occasions such as the soirees. Those are especially popular among young people, the youth of the community, and it's a little party of sorts. For both of the usages of this space, I imagine that once the school year starts in the beginning of October, this area will be returned to the former state. This area will be removed because the primary school director will be on site rather than taking summer vacation, and he will maintain the property and the proper usage of the school grounds for the purpose of community education.